We got Marco. Tomorrow they're both there, right? We got Marco over here. Has anyone heard of Ultimate Spider-Man? The second highest selling single issue of last year, right there.
This is opinable.
We also got Kamo right here. Has anyone ever heard of the Joker? Spider-Man as well. Swamp Thing. This guy right here.
He said it's hard to pronounce, but that's my name.
He gave me permission. So, has anyone been to a schedule? Do you know how these work? Yes, okay, so, no? Okay, so essentially, we're gonna do two 15-minute rounds, okay? And so that way, each of them are gonna be doing a drawing every 15 minutes for a total of 4 drawings. At the end, we will raffle the 4 drawings, and 4 of you are gonna go home with original art from these lovely gentlemen right here. So, but what's really cool with this one is they're doing connecting pieces. So each 15 minutes, the pieces will connect. So it'll be 2 connecting pieces, but obviously they're going to be separated because we're going to 4 different homes.
Actually, the plan is that to do 2 characters, and so 2 pieces.
Oh, that's right. We changed that.
But
right.
with both of us.
That's right. That's even better. That was the original one. My bad. We were talking about it back there. So they're going to do 2 pieces, but he's going to draw something, and then they're going to swap pads. So you get a draw. So whoever wins, they're going to get both artists on this page. You get it? So that's going to be really fun.
So it's all at the end, not bit by bit during?
All at the end, we'll raffle them at the end when they're done. Every 15 minutes we'll show on camera what they got, but yeah, at the end. All right, so let's get the timer started, gentlemen.
Okay.
So, Marco, let's start with you.
Okay. Oh, fantastic.
Yeah. Ultimate Spider-Man.
Yeah.
How does it feel to be on the most successful book of that line? And it's really, the number 1 was the second highest selling single issue last year.
Yes, it's the first one.
Yes.
Sell.
No, they're all great, but the first one is broke records.
It's fantastic because Jonathan is a great writer, and I work with him very well. And the things that when they asked me to work on Ultimate Spider-Man, I stayed in front of my monitor, my computer, to see the screen, because they asked me, "You want to draw Ultimate Spider-Man with Jonathan Hickman?" I said, "Okay." I stayed here for 10 minutes. After that, I asked to my wife to read me the email again. And I said, because my English is very terrible, and I said, "Is that true?" They asked me to draw with Jonathan to work on Ultimate Spider-Man, and she said, "Yes, Marco." And it was incredible, and the run is beautiful, the script is incredible, and in Marvel we are all happy about this comic book, this series, and I hope that all of you are enjoying it.
Definitely are.
Thank you so much.
Kamal, let's go to you. What about the Joker? Your Joker is great. You worked on it with Tynan.
I did.
You did. So he's the most iconic villain in all of fiction. I think most of us agree Joker, the number 1 baddie in all of fiction. What did you want to bring to such an iconic character? There's so many interpretations of him, so many great ones. What was your take on that?
I've been drawing Joker a few times in Batman.
Yep.
Batman Europa with Brian Azzarello and Jim Lee, and also some issues of Batman that I did. But it's one of the characters that they asked me the most in conventions, together with Spider-Man. So Batman, Joker, Spider-Man, and I really like the character.
Yeah.
I tried to do my own version, but the 2 artists that I really are the foundation of my Joker, I think, are Brian Bolland, because I really love The Killing Joke, and his version of the Joker there was like perfect.
That's my favorite comic book.
Perfection from the hair, from the expressions, from the lunacy of the character, and very scary. And the other one, which is completely different, is David King. because Arkham Asylum was like a book that blew me away, but in terms of story, but also the art. And actually, here's a story, like I was going to look after the comic convention when I was a kid before becoming an artist, and David King was there. I think it was like 93 or something like that. And I have a sketch of the Joker that he did.
Oh.
Yeah, I was at last in line, and he did like a fantastic Joker with markers that I still have, of course. And so, like, those are very different versions of the Joker. So, like, my version is aiming to be kind of like a mix between those two.
Really cool.
That's it. But I really like it because you can really play a lot with the character. Body language, expressions, you know, poses, you know, it's hair.
Do you find drawing a character like the Joker or just villains in general are more fun to draw? You know, speaking to a ton of artists this weekend, it seems like overwhelmingly they're like, oh, you just do more stuff with the bad guys. It's just like you get away with a lot more.
Yeah, a little bit. Actually, it's the funniest thing is when you can do that kind of thing with the good guys.
Okay.
Like when I did Superior Spider-Man, you know, that was different. You know, because that was like seeing a version of Spider-Man, which is a good guy, definitely a good guy, in a very different light. You know, so that is probably the most different thing. But yeah, normally with villains, yeah, a little bit more freedom, you know,
For sure.
to go crazy, you know, but depend on the villain, but yeah.
Okay. Before I head over back to Marco, I wanted to ask you one more thing since we're talking about Joker, Batman. Same thing, same question with the Joker. What did you want to bring to your Batsy? It's such an iconic character. Your interpretation of that character.
Batman?
Batman, yeah. I had to go on a point on you.
That's pretty easy. Like the source for any Batman that I did is Frank Miller.
Ooh.
So like
he's in this room right after.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
Like I met him a few times, and the first thing I told him was thank you for doing that, because like I was a kid and I remember that discovering The Dark Knight Returns completely changed my mind and the way that I was drawing. So like all my characters like that right now, because like I really like the fact that it was something that I'd never seen before.
Yeah.
And so that a little bit of Jim Lee, because also his version of Batman is, I think, fantastic.
For sure.
And also Mike Mignola, I like his Batman a lot. So I mean, with Batman it's very easy because there's so many great artists that work on the book. So I like my Batman. I like him blocky, you know, like kind of and small ears and always very serious. Well, he's always like that, but but no. And again, you can play a lot with the character, you know, with the cape, you know, with the poses and expressions a little bit less, but you can still get nuances with Batman a lot, actually.
I got one more question. You sparked a question, and I promise I'll let you get back to drawing.
It's okay.
Before I go to Marco, you said Mignola again. Something I've been noticing talking to a bunch of artists throughout this weekend, you know, whether it's the Otto, John Boy, you know, whoever it is, they constantly keep bringing up Mignola, right? Mm-hmm. So what do you think it is about Mignola that even other very successful artists as yourself are like, but Mignola though? What is that it factor, would you say, from your perspective?
That's a very tough question. There's something so unique about Mignola, whether it's composition, black and white, you know, his use of like shadows, and but honestly, like even before he became, you know, known for Hellboy, you know, like the stuff that they did for DC and Marvel, fantastic, you know, honestly, like Cosmic Odyssey, for example, it's a book that blew me away, and the Batman that he drew there, it's incredible. So no, there's a sense of aesthetic and gravitas in Mignola that it's pretty unique, I would say, and makes it look simple, but it's not.
Right, for sure.
It's very complicated to get to what he does. I don't know. It's a mystery, you know.
Somewhere he's just smiling with all the good, like his peers just saying so much good stuff.
Oh yeah, I'm sure. Like, and even small details that he does, like small skulls, you know, like some minor things that he does, like they are unbelievably beautiful.
What I find interesting about so many people, so many, you know, of his peers giving him compliments is I feel like people who don't know much about art technically would be like, that's just weird looking, you know what I mean? But actual professional artists like yourself are like, no, that's like really, that's something special right there, you know? But Marco, let's go to you over here. You're drawing, they can't see what you're drawing, but that looks fantastic. We've got some color on it too. Ultimate Spider-Man, one of the things that stuck out to me most was issue 2 of Ultimate Spider-Man. That's at the end of it, or in that issue, May kind of just like, hey, Dad, so you're like Spider-Man and all that stuff?
Yeah.
That was kind of flipping on the head. When you got that script in, or when you were even doing it with him, you're like, wow, so we're finally having Spider-Man be happy. Like, that's what so many of us have wanted in the 616 universe, and I think a big reason why this series you're working on, the Ultimate Universe, is so successful, because it is what a lot of us want for Peter in 616.
Yes.
So what are your thoughts on that?
I think that the beautiful things of this book is that the first Ultimate Spider-Man was in the first years of 2000.
Yeah. He was younger.
Yeah, and the people that read this book was 60 years old, and now is 35 years old, and Spider-Man is 35 years old in this series. So the same guys that are teenagers today are fathers, and they can recognize them in our characters now.
For sure.
And a lot of young fathers say to me that it's beautiful to read this book with their childs.
Yeah.
And I think these things about from Hickman was an incredible idea.
Mm-hmm.
And yes, at the moment, Peter is happy. All works, but you know, it happens.
Yeah. So, when those scripts were coming in with Hickman, you were chatting and stuff, was that a very conscious decision to be like, we are gonna, like, was it the idea to give fans what they wanted as far as like, he's gonna have MJ, he's gonna have 2 kids, he's not gonna always get a divorce, lose everything, you know? Was that very conscious on your guys' part? Was that was always the intent from the beginning, to kind of just spearhead it that way?
Sì, è stata l'intenzione dall'inizio di...
Yes, okay, yes, it was from the...
Well, thank you so much. We appreciate that. Pete finally gets to be happy.
Yes, and
I guess he's happy too to be happy.
Yeah. And for me it was important, the first things I said to my editors and to Jonathan is to have the most classic Spider-Man ever. His costumes, and yes, he has a beard in the face. It's not my idea, because I don't know, I have a sort of course, because every characters that they ask me to draw, they ask me the beard. I don't know why. The beard man. Okay.
Ladies love it.
Yeah, probably yes. But this time I said to Jonathan, no, please, the beard, no.
Right.
People said me, you draw all peoples with the beard. And this time not my fault. Okay. So.
Kamo, back to you. 5-minute warning too, gentlemen, for this first round. 5 minutes. So back to you. What would you, I've been asking, this is kind of a recurring question, because as I've said, if you've been in any of the previous panels, I find it very interesting to get into the mind of each individual artist, because everyone's going to have a different answer. So what would you think, or what do you think goes into a great cover? For whatever reason, it's an interesting question to me.
Yeah, it's, to me, a cover has either to be very iconic, or, which is the stuff that I like the most, have a story, tell a story.
Okay.
So like, even with the simple concept, I try to put details that can tell you that there's something going on, you know, like it's a panel from a book, frozen in time.
Right.
So composition-wise, we have a lot more freedom, but I think that, okay, you see, let's say, I just did this issue of Godzilla versus Hulk for Marvel. So it's a one shot, it's going to be out in April, and the cover is Godzilla against Hulk, right? So there's tiny Hulk trying to jump up, and Godzilla looking down with the light coming from his mouth, no?
Yeah.
And so the idea is like, it's a moment frozen in time, and you have to start wondering, thinking, what's going to happen next.
Right.
So that's my take on covers.
Okay.
There's something went on before those covers and something's going to happen before those covers. So I was trying to find a concept that makes the reader think it's not just a beautiful or an ugly illustration. It's a piece of a story, because ultimately comics tell stories. So
For sure.
the cover, I think, has to follow that trend. That's my take.
Do you have a different approach when it comes to covers and interiors? Obviously, you have way more time to tell that story within interiors, as you have, anywhere from 20 to 24 pages. But do you find it harder to do it that way, having more space, or is it harder to tell the story in the cover because you have one page essentially? What's your approach with that?
Well, it's easier on one page, but covers can be very easy to do sometimes.
Okay.
But I still always tend to prefer doing interiors, because I like storytelling. I like telling a story with images, and there's so many cool moments. There's definitely a build-up in comics, climax, which in covers there's not, unless it's, let's say, connecting covers, so there's like a story going on. But yeah, it really depends on the subject. But honestly, I like them both actually. When I do comics, like interiors, I get ideas for covers and vice versa. So it's a very different thing, but I try to come up with ideas that I can put in the other part.
Awesome.
That's my take.
Marco, what about you? What is your approach with covers, and what do you think makes a great cover?
Okay. Yes, covers are beautiful to do, but sometimes I hate to do the main covers. Because the variant covers, the editor say you make what you want. Okay, so I can choose the pose, I can choose the characters, I can choose the composition of the covers, and the main covers sometimes are very very hard, because they want 3 characters, 4 characters, or sometimes they have just a stupid idea and they ask you, I don't know, 3 or 5 or 4 versions of the same cover, and the rule is that you do the cover you prefer, with a lot of details, very very well drawn.
Yeah.
Okay. But they will choose always the worst version that you do.
That's got to be true, because you're like the 4th artist who said that. Literally, Del Auto just said that to me.
Oh,
yeah.
It's a rule. It's a rule.
That's why you only send one sketch.
That's terrible.
All right, gentlemen, are you there? 'Cause we're out of time for this round. Yeah. All right.
Just sign it. And switch.
Oh,
And then
we switch.
We switch. You guys just want to switch seats? You want to move the camera?
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm gonna sit here.
You got to see what Mark is doing. I know this one. Yours is great as well, but they haven't seen. They don't know what's going on over there yet. Oh, this is going to be a cool piece. So you're just going to mirror that over?
Yep.
Yep. Oh, this is cool. This is a cool idea.
And you wanna move here? So, no. Lascio qua.
Yeah.
No. Or you wanna... sì.
Sì.
Well, if you swap, if you swap, then you'll just see yours. Yeah.
Okay.
Oh no, it won't work. No, it won't. Yeah, you're
You
right.
have to-
You have to keep it.
No,
yeah.
but I just wanted
You
to show
it.
you.
Oh.
Yep.
This is how he ensures he wins.
We are just artists.
Sinister Six, very new version of Sinister
Yeah.
Six in the Ultimate Spider-Man title. How much fun was that to do? This version with Kingpin, Negative
Yeah.
Man, completely different take. Even like Doc Ock. Doc Ock is on the team, but he's not the same Doc Ock at all. Very different universe. Did you have a lot of fun exploring all that?
Yes. I want just to say you that we never called them Sinister Six.
Yeah, right.
So
Is it-
maybe
it-
they are not the Sinister Six.
The internet's calling the Sinister
Yes.
Six. Yeah.
So, if you want to speak about the Sinister Six,
You can either
Yeah.
confirm or deny. I see what's going on here. Okay.
Yes, when I read the email by Jonathan, I read the first one was Moleman, and said, but I thought maybe Jonathan doesn't read Spider-Man. You know, but it was a great idea, and on issue 14 that will come out next month, I promise you will read a very crazy book, because there is a lot of things that happens in the book.
Like they call him Sinister Six?
And I liked a lot to do the character design, because they asked me to do what I want. And
So you had full creative freedom.
yes,
Okay.
creator freedom for all the book, for
That's awesome.
all the series. And my favorite is Mysterio, because he has I don't know if you remember Hellraiser. He has all the horror movies with these monsters with a lot of.
Oh, Hellraiser, yes, yes.
Thank you, man.
Yes.
I wasn't sure.
Thank you, man. So you have come si dice?
Spikes.
Oh,
Yeah.
with a lot of these characters with big spikes.
Yeah.
And so it was very interesting to do these characters. Beautiful.
Kamal, going back to you, what do you think is the hardest type of character to draw? I was told in a panel I was doing yesterday with some artists that Superman is actually one of the hardest characters to draw, just because it's so hard to get it right. It's just that he has to be like hopeful, he has to be strong, he has to be handsome, he has to be all these things. But going off that, do you think characters that are us as fans on the outside be like, oh, it's Superman, he's got caves on wearing outside his pants, he's just a dude. Like, that's easy. So what do you think is the hardest thing to draw? And do you agree with something like that? Like Superman is a hard character to draw, to nail it right.
Well, I guess every one of us has its own pet peeves or favorite or lovable things, but no, it ultimately gets down to your ability to nail the characters. So personally, the characters that are probably most difficult are the ones with either a lot of details. For example, there was like a version of Captain America that had these hexagons here. And since I work traditionally and not digitally, it's really hard to do all those details.
Yeah.
Or imagine, like for me, Judge Dredd, the eagle, every time, or let's say Ghost Rider, chain, so like all those elements that are, repetitive, is correct? Like it's hard to nail them, to keep them always, especially if you're working, traditionally.
Right.
Another example, for example, is Miles Morales, because like when I drew him on Spider-Man, I had to do double the work for the lines, because it's red.
Yeah.
The webs are red. So if you work digitally, you can just like use a tool and do it. But for me, it had to be.
That makes sense.
Yeah. And so like there's I think this answer would be different from probably each one of us.
Yeah.
Like for example, like I don't like drawing guns, I don't like drawing cars, I don't like drawing buildings, so there's a lot of things that, and if you work on Spider-Man, you have to draw all the buildings, so you have to make it, fun, but, and work. But, honestly, I guess that Marvel, DC, and publishing companies are very aware that every one of us should be put in the best conditions, like Mark was saying, because it's ultimately better for everybody, for us, for the book, for the readers. So they usually, unless you're at the very beginning of your career, how do you feel about that? Would you like to do that? Are you comfortable with that kind of script? So I think that's smart, and ultimately makes our work easier and better for everybody.
Okay, so going, you said Ghost Rider's change, and that kind of made me remember Todd McFarlane famously has said when he did Spider-Man's webbings, it was very intricate. He's like, it looks cool, but drawing that.
But that I love, because they can be different every time.
That is, okay, so it's
Chains should be always identical,
So is that
different.
So as far as character design goes, whenever you're doing the character design for any character, whether it's a Spider-Man character, Batman, whatever it is that something you take into consideration when designing a character? Like, I'm gonna have to draw this every.
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. Even if it's not for me, like sometimes you have to design characters or covers, or that that, or maybe you're just going to draw them for an issue, but then you should be aware that other people, are drawing it, or could be drawing it in the future. So I am, not just to make my life easier, but to make a design, understandable and easy to replicate from other people.
For sure.
So yeah, I always try to think of that.
Okay. Marco, what about?
I don't care.
You don't. Okay. There's that.
No, I'm joking. No, it's. I think that Camo is right. Just joking.
So with doing Spider-Man, we'll go specifically to Spidey, because obviously,
Yeah.
that's what we're currently on, and it's huge right now. You said earlier when I chatted to you when you were on the other side that you want to do a very traditional classic Spider-Man.
Yeah.
And it is, for sure, 100% is, but it still very much has your footprint on it, your DNA. What did you want to bring to your version of a classic Ditko, Romita type Spider-Man?
Yeah. So for me, Spider-Man is a book that was property of Romita's family, and I really love John Romita Sr., but John Romita Jr. for me was the most important artist in my life, because I started to work to read Spider-Man with his book in the 80s.
Yeah.
And I don't know what is, but I think that his Spider-Man have something that I can find in other artists.
Right.
Okay. Another great artist that I loved so much of Spider-Man was Rick Leonardi, that draws Spider-Man 2099.
Oh, 2099, yes.
Exactly.
Yellow hair,
And I don't know, I like for me Spider-Man is the classic one, and also I love the new Miles Morales movies. I think
Spider-Verse movies?
Yes,
Yeah.
they are very, very beautiful, but it's not my Spider-Man.
I can get down with that. I love Miles, but I grew up with Peter, so Peter in the day is mine
exactly.
too. Now, I forget what I think it's issue 2. You brought up different costumes. You said classic is your favorite, but Spidey has, a lot of iconic ones. Black suit obviously would be probably next to mine. Iron Spider, Armored Spider, so on and so forth. Scarlet. How did you choose? I believe it was issue 2. Correct me if I'm wrong. Where you kind of have the 4-panel montage where he's like trying on new outfits to May. He's like this one, this, before landing on the classic one.
Yeah.
So did you have full creative freedom to be like, I'm putting the black suit in there, I'm putting Iron Spider in there? So was that a conversation with Hickman? He's like, just do whatever you want.
Yes. So it was very hard for me because another course I had in my career in Marvel was that every time I draw Spider-Man, on Amazing Spider-Man, on Avenging Spider-Man, they asked me to draw the new costumes, and I never drew the classic one.
Right.
So when they asked me, just do Spider-Man, what you want, I said the classic one, please. And the montage was simple because they asked to do new, but not important. Just the first one is important because it's the Spider-Man we saw in issue 13. So,
yeah. Kyle, going to you, since we're kind of Spidey thing, you guys are doing Spideyverse characters. Do you have a favorite version of Spider-Man that you like to draw? That you want to do? Like, is your favorite version like Iron Spider or Black Suit? What's your favorite? Because you worked a lot on Spider-Man too.
Yeah, I like them pretty much all. Like costume Spider-Man is always really cool, and 2099, a lot. And Superior Spider-Man as well. I kind of like it because it's both costumes actually.
Right.
One was, I think, created by Ed McGuinness, the first one, and Humberto Ramos did the second. But they're both really, really cool to draw. But you know, nothing can beat classic Spider-Man. I mean, that's you know,
Traditional.
yeah, I mean, there's something so powerful, you know, in it, and it's basically it's the foundation of every other version. But when I did Spider-Verse, I had a lot of fun doing Spider-Man UK, for example,
Yeah.
which was pretty cool.
Yeah.
I
like that.
Spider-Man
I love
Noir is
that.
also really cool to draw. Spider-Man Noir, yeah, Noir is also really cool to draw. And yeah, it's Scarlet Spider is cool. I mean, they're all really basically great designs, you know.
Like so many of them too.
Yeah, I mean, like I remember reading the books with Clone Saga and seeing this version of Spider-Man with the hoodie. It was like,
That's actually that's top.
yeah, I mean, it was the 90s, so I was a kid. No, not a kid, but yeah, I was a kid in the 90s. But yeah, I don't remember. It's too much time has passed. But no, I mean, and honestly, doing Spider-Verse was like the sum of that, because like having the chance of drawing all these characters.
Is there a specific moment on Spider-Verse that you're like, because that was huge. I mean, you're talking about like now that he took that, like, oh, this is so cool. We're gonna do the best Spider-Man movies, and they're gonna be based in the Spider-Verse.
Yeah.
So, is there like a moment that sticks out to you working on that you're like, just your personal favorite, or maybe a group of characters or something?
Honest?
Yeah.
When I was done with it.
That's actually got to be a work because of the book.
No, because it was glorious. Like honestly, like Marco was saying, you know, like they gave me a chance of doing like an epic story, and even before we knew that it was going to turn into like a great movie, you know. But you know, there was a time that I thought when I was working on it that I couldn't have made it, you know, because there were so many, especially, you know, splash pages or double spreads where there's like a zillion of characters, you know. Those seem like endless to do. At the same time, like they were great and epic, you know.
Mm-hmm.
Once you were done with that, you were really happy with it. But when you had to start, and so I can tell you this story. When I drew the last page, and I knew that it was going to be, you know, the end of it, and then eventually going back to Spider-Man, but Spider-Man was done.
Yeah.
That night, I dreamt that I was still drawing it, and it was not pleasant. Because I remember there was like, oh, and in the dream, you know, sometimes you're conscious about it and you say, okay, no, this is a dream, but so why didn't I end yesterday? You know, like I was still, you know, my mind and body refused to think that it was like over. But, you know, aside from that, it was a great, there's a moment in Spider-Verse, I think, in one of the first issues or preludes or prologues that I drew, when the inheritors, that's the name, you know, the villains, Mortals, they start looking through the webs, you know, and gates and opening, and then was like, okay, there's going to be a huge double spread with like different versions of Spider-Man, and he gave me a list of the ones that he wanted, and then he said, go nuts with the others. So that's where Gunslinger Spider-Man was born, because I said, well, look, there's a famous comic book in Italy called Tex. It's a Western comic book. So, well, it would be cool to have like a Spider-Man with a, you know, it's a cowboy.
Yeah.
So I put a lot of things, you know, that I just made up on the spot. But then that became a character, you know. So that's the magic of comics, you know. Sometimes things can be born, you know, like that, just out of any intention, you know. So, and that image is still one of the pages that I really like the most.
Was an email sent to you when they're like, hey, so there's going to be movies based on this verse?
No, of course not. It was too early to that, but no, and I did so many different cameos and stuff like that. But it's fantastic. It's fantastic, honestly. It was fantastic.
Are you ready to show it off to the crowd?
Yeah. Just let me
All right.
sign it.
I think it's time to give these pieces away, everyone. After we unveil the secret one over there. Okay. All right. Over. There you go. Wow, awesome. That's a background going on there.
See, again, this is a sketch, but it's almost like the comic cover that I was telling you. Know, there's a story behind this sketch. You know, so was it Carnage? Was it someone else?
Yeah.
Battle Damage? So you know, I like this kind of storytelling illustrations.
It's great. It's great. You pull it, I'll read it out. You pick it, and then I'll read the.
Oh.
Yeah. So we're gonna, since this one's on top first, we'll do this one first.
And if it's my wife,
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah. Are we just gonna do last three numbers? 973. Last three numbers. 973.
Oh man, great!
Am I gonna be the one to rip it? Is that gonna fall in my hands? Oh no.
Yeah.
You want us to do it?
Yes, please. I don't want to be responsible.
Yes. With great power.
Nice.
Voila.
Thank you, sir. Thank you so much.
Oh. There we go. 852913. There we go. Congratulations.
Shake the box a little, there it is.
Okay.
Right? Oh, sorry.
No. Slow. It's gotta remember it. All right, everyone. That concludes this panel. Let's give it up for these two lovely gentlemen. I also want to say, if you are attending the Frank Miller panel right after this, you do have to leave the room. You cannot stay in here. We have to clear the room completely, get back in line, and then we'll let you back in. Sorry. The higher ups told me. Yeah, they're VIP's ultimate. I have to get it sorted. Yeah. Yep.
Hey,
Somebody with a beard?
yeah.
Damn, dude.
That sucks. That sucks really bad. I've been waiting
Waited
here
here the
for
whole
3
time.
hours.
Oh, man. That's a
Oh
bummer.
god, that really sucks.
I don't even really know what to say right now. I'm so freaking upset. We sat in the auditorium area, whatever you want to call that, for like 3 hours. Pretty much wasted the entire day because I was really excited to see Frank Miller and Todd McFarlane. We saw, I think it was 2 panels. They didn't kick us out for any of the panels in between the artist panels. We saw Del Auto, we saw a draw off, and then we saw another draw off. They never kicked us out of the place, and then all of a sudden Frank Miller and Todd McFarlane come in. Even we recorded Todd McFarlane yesterday. There was no problems. We were able to stay in the seats and everything, and they literally just kicked us out. They were like, yeah, you guys might not even be able to record. This whole front row is for like VIP people. So we're out of here. I'm in a pretty bad mood, I gotta be completely honest. And yeah, it's been a pretty lame day. So sorry if the videos suck, but we're out of here. We'll be back tomorrow, hunt for some comic books, get some good deals. But between Alex Maleev ditching me yesterday and us getting kicked out of the Frank Miller and Todd McFarlane talking today, this has been a pretty sucky time. So we'll see you guys in the next one.